You are falling through fire at 18 times the speed of sound, and for the first few minutes, this feels exactly like it should. Outside your window, plasma burns orange and white, temperatures reaching 3,000 degrees as the atmosphere claws at the shuttle's belly. You have trained for this. You have studied the physics, watched footage of dozens of successful re-entries. The flames are not a sign of danger. They are a sign that you are almost home. 16 days ago, you left Earth on a pillar of fire. In 30 minutes, you will land in Florida, and your daughter will be waiting with a sign she made herself. Then a warning light appears on the console. Tire pressure sensors on the left landing gear have failed. The commander reports it to Houston. Houston begins to respond, and then the signal cuts to static. More warning lights appear now faster than they should, all of them on the left side. Something is wrong with the left wing. Something has been wrong with the left wing for 16 days. You just did not know it. Let me take you back to the beginning, to the moment when this dream became real. You spent 10 years trying to get here. 10 years of applications to NASA, each one followed by a polite rejection letter. 3 times they said no. 3 times you applied again because giving up was not something you knew how to do. On the 4th try, the letter was different. You have been selected as a candidate for the astronaut training program. You read it twice before the words made sense. Then you sat down on the kitchen floor and cried. And when your wife found you there, she cried too. 2 years of training followed. The night before launch, you had dinner with your family. Your daughter asked if space was scary. You told her it was beautiful. You told her you would be home in 17 days. You did not tell her about the 1,000 ways the machine could kill you. January 16th, 2003, launch day. You wake before dawn and eat the traditional breakfast of steak and eggs. You put on your orange pressure suit and ride the elevator to the crew cabin, 140 feet above the ground. The shuttle is attached to an external fuel tank larger than a building, flanked by 2 solid rocket boosters that will generate more thrust than any machine ever built. You strap into your seat. The countdown reaches 0, and then the world becomes noise. The vibration is so intense that your vision blurs, your teeth rattle. 3 gravities of force press you into your chair. The sky outside shifts from blue to deep purple to black. 8.5 minutes after launch, the engines cut off, and suddenly there is silence. Perfect, absolute silence. You are floating. The straps hold you to your seat, but your arms rise on their own, weightless. Outside the window, the Earth curves away beneath you, blue and white, and impossibly beautiful. You are in space. What you do not know, what no one aboard knows, is that 82 seconds after launch, a piece of insulation foam the size of a briefcase broke away from the external tank. It struck the leading edge of the left wing at 500 miles per hour, punching a hole the size of a dinner plate through the thermal protection. The damage was done before you reached orbit. You simply did not see it happen. 16 days in space, 16 days of wonder. You wake each morning in a sleeping bag strapped to the wall. There is no up or down here. You learn to move by pushing gently off surfaces, floating from one module to another, like something from a dream. The mission is science. 80 experiments in 16 days. You work long hours, but the work does not feel like burden. You are doing what you trained for, what you dreamed of, what you crossed 10 years of rejection to reach. In quiet moments, you float to the observation window and watch the planet turn beneath you. You see hurricanes over the Atlantic, cities glittering at night like scattered diamonds. You watch the sun rise every 90 minutes, 16 sunrises every day. You call home through the satellite link. Your daughter tells you about the poster she is making for your return. You tell her you can see the house from up here. You cannot, of course, but you can see the world she lives in. While you floated above the Earth, people on the ground were watching footage from your launch. The day after liftoff, engineers saw the foam strike. They requested satellite imagery to assess the damage. Management denied the request. They said foam had struck the shuttle before. They said it had never caused serious damage. The engineers asked again. Management said no. They asked a 3rd time. Management said the analysis showed acceptable risk. For 16 days, emails went back and forth, warnings filed and ignored. For 16 days, 7 astronauts continued their work in orbit, unaware that the wing designed to protect them was already compromised. No one told you about the foam strike. The decision to keep you uninformed was made for you by people who believed that foam could not possibly doom a spacecraft. They were wrong. February 1st, 2003, the last morning. You wake early, knowing this is the final day. The experiments are complete, the samples packed, the mission accomplished. All that remains is the journey home. Breakfast is quick, everyone focused on the procedures ahead. The commander gathers the crew and thanks everyone for 16 days of excellent work. You shake hands. You mean it. You take one last look out the window. The Earth is there, blue and patient, waiting to take you back. Somewhere below that curve of atmosphere, your daughter is getting ready to drive to the landing strip. Somewhere below, your wife is holding the sign your daughter painted. In 2 hours, you will hold them both. You strap into your seat, you seal your helmet. The deorbit burn fires precisely on schedule, slowing the shuttle just enough to begin the long fall home. The curvature of Earth fills your window, and then the first traces of atmosphere appear, a faint glow that grows into fire. You have done this in simulators 100 times. You know exactly what to expect. Everything proceeds exactly as it should. For a few more minutes, the first sign of trouble is a sensor reading that makes no sense. Tire pressure monitors on the left landing gear have stopped transmitting. The commander reports it to Houston. Then more sensors fail, all of them on the left side, all of them in rapid succession. On the ground, controllers are staring at their screens. Data from the left wing is disappearing. Temperatures in areas that should be cool are spiking. Inside the cabin, you feel the vehicle shudder. The autopilot is fighting to maintain control, firing thrusters to correct for something pulling the shuttle to the left. You hear the commander talking to Houston, but the words are breaking up. Then nothing. You look at the window. The flames outside are brighter on the left side. Through them, you see something that stops your breath. Pieces are coming off the wing, glowing fragments tumbling away into the plasma. The shuttle lurches, the horizon tilts. What happens next takes less than a minute. Superheated gas is flooding through the breach in the left wing, melting aluminum, severing cables. The wing is disintegrating from the inside. The shuttle begins to roll. The autopilot cannot compensate. You feel the G-forces building. 2 gravities, 3, 4. You are pressed into your seat with a weight that makes breathing difficult. Warning lights cover every console. Your vision is narrowing. The cabin loses pressure. The investigation will later determine that consciousness was lost within 15 to 40 seconds. The shuttle broke apart over Texas at 200,000 feet, scattering debris across 300 miles. You do not feel the moment the vehicle comes apart. You are thinking about your daughter, about the sign she painted, about the look on her face when she sees you walk off the shuttle. You think of her face. You think, at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, the Space Shuttle Columbia was scheduled to land at Kennedy Space Center. It did not arrive. Across Texas and Louisiana, residents heard sonic booms and looked up to see trails of smoke crossing the sky. Debris fell for hundreds of miles, fragments of spacecraft and personal belongings scattered across farms and forests. The largest intact piece was an engine turbo pump. The smallest pieces would take months to find. 7 astronauts lost their lives that morning. A commander on his second flight, a pilot on his first, a physicist, a doctor, an engineer. They had spent 16 days conducting science that would benefit humanity. They deserved to come home. The investigation that followed was unsparing. NASA management had dismissed the foam strike as acceptable risk. Engineers who raised concerns had been overruled or ignored. The same institutional failures that caused the Challenger disaster 17 years earlier had never been fixed. The same culture of silence, the same dismissal of warnings, the same belief that disaster happens to other people. Columbia was not a random tragedy. Columbia was preventable. Somewhere in Florida, a daughter waited at a runway with a sign she had painted herself. She waited until there was nothing left to wait for. We go to space because it represents the best of what humans can achieve. The curiosity to explore, the courage to risk everything. The crews of Columbia and Challenger understood this. They accepted the dangers because they believed the mission mattered. But Columbia reminds us that the worst of humanity travels alongside the best. The arrogance that dismisses warnings, the bureaucracy that values schedule over safety. 7 people trusted NASA to make the right decisions. 7 people paid for that trust with their lives. What remains is the memory. A daughter who grew up without a father, engineers who still carry the emails they sent, and somewhere in space, the next mission preparing to launch. The sky is not as far away as we think, and falling from it takes only a moment. The stars do not care about our failures. They only wait for us to try again. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more true stories. See you in the next one.